Well, you may notice that the plate has changed. When I was having a play, the boards are pushing against the capacitors, so I've moved the capacitors back a bit and given them a bit flimsier, but there's a little bit more kind of area for the heat to get away from them. So I'll just solder the tops together. I've just used some I didn't have any cable that was thick enough, so I've just gone over and soldered some twisted cable to give me a reasonable sort of size cable, and that's going to go in. Board's going to sit into there. Rocks a bit because there's a bit down there. I'm not sure where I'm going to mount it, whether I might just push it in there and a dab of hot melt glue. But now the power cable is going to have to come up to here and go down. I've added a little bit of plastic. I 3D printed it. I'm not sure it will show up down there, but it's just a little slot to put the board in to stop it riding up, as I was worried that if I pushed down on the board it could lift up and the FET driver could hit the bottom of the transformer. The next idea, I don't know if we can zoom in a bit, maybe that will work, is obviously what I want to do now is there is a risk that the output side, which is on this side going through all the boards up to the iron, could float up to float up to a voltage due to mains pickup or some just some pickup. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add a 1 meg resistor to the capacitor 0 volts, as that's a convenient place to put it. It's just going to be attached to the little 0 volt bus bar, so that it's got somewhere to hang. Plenty of nice bit of solder, keep it still. And this isn't going to be the best way of doing it. I may have to do something later. What I was thinking is bringing the earth cable up to there, and then to hold the capacitors into this little framework, my idea now is to tie wrap. Put a tie wrap around the body, and it can also help hold this earth wire. The idea being that the 1 meg resistor will be enough just to drain away any charge picked up on the iron tip, but not enough that if you're working on something that's got a mains reference it shouldn't cause any problems. Just a 1 meg to ground. The proper soldering iron station that this iron system would have gone with has a little connector, it's a little jack plug, and with it you get a jack plug that you can plug in, and then it's up to you what value of resistor you want, or you can just, I'm not sure if it's whether the tip's grounded directly to earth if the jack plug's not in, and if you leave the jack plug open and plug it in you open the ground, or yeah, that must how it be, and then you put a resistor value of your choice into the jack plug, so that when you plug it in, it then makes the connection with that resistor. So I think the ones I was using at work, I put a 1 meg resistor in the jack plug, as it sort of kept it in line with the 1 meg resistor, or 1 meg resistance that was on the bench mats. And the reason this table is a funny colour is that just happens to be the colour of the anti-static mat I've got on the table, which needs to be fixed because it was an off-cut, it was rolled up, and you can't really see them, but there are lots of little ridges and furrows where it was rolled up, and I haven't yet worked out a decent way of gluing it to the table. Right, so that's giving it an earth connection. So bear with me for a couple of seconds. I can go for another box off camera and get some cable ties. Now, I don't think I've got ones that are long enough to go right around. So I'll use 2. And this should pull it in nicely, and not sure the zoom. Oh, doesn't seem to want to zoom out. The thing on these, but basically it's a cable tie gun. And come on, open up. It basically pulls the table tie tight. If you get it to the right place, that is. It's in the wrong way. Go in. When it gets to the right tension that you set on the dial here, it cuts it. It cuts it pretty flush as well. So I think I've probably overdone that because it's now looked a bit bowed. But and that capacitors are still free to move, so, and that will keep the earth wire nice and safe. If the resistor breaks, it can't get over to where the mains is on this side. The unit has got reasonable mains protection. The front panel has a piece that comes down here and along the underneath, so that, you know, I'll bring it back in and show you. What it will show, but you'll see that the main section, effectively when it's in its box, that kind of piece along that area along here continues into here, so that this side is kept well away from the mains, and the same down here. It's why I could bring the driller hole down here and bring the cable through, because, you know, there's no chance of anything there hitting the mains. So I thought, well, that's a good point of using this box, is, you know, there was a lot of thought put into this when it was made, and as you can see it down there, 23rd of April, but the moulding there says 96, so I think that's how old it is. So I don't really want to carry on waffling. I'll come back when the glue on my little bit in there. You can see it's a bit of a graunch in there. I was going to screw it in, but in the end decided that I'll just cut it off and stick it in with glue, because after all, you know, it's just going to stop that edge of the board coming up. So I'll come back when the glue has dried.